Hi, my name is Nicole Potts Gumble, and I'm a Senior Sales Director with Mary Kay, and this is my mom.
I'm Julie Potts. I'm a Future Executive Senior Director with Mary Kay.
And we thought we would just make a quick video to share with you a little bit about our journey with the company. And our prayer is that you would open up your mind and open up your heart and just be willing to hear whatever God has in store for you. We don't think anything happens by accident. And so we know that whatever it may be, if you can glean something from our journeys, then this would be a success.
I've been with Mary Kay 25 years. So before Mary Kay, I was 26 years old. I was a minimalist when it came to skincare and makeup. I had been married almost 2 years. And I was kind of negative about life. Maybe, I guess the best way to say is discouraged. I was so tired of getting no's and getting my hopes built up and things just not happening. I wanted to be a flight attendant. And they told me I was literally too short and too fat. And I wanted to go into copier sales. And they told me that I didn't have the right personality for sales, that I wasn't self-motivated enough. And so I had just gone through life just being discouraged. I never went to prom. No boy ever asked me. The whole thought of what Mary Kay was is not what I thought I was.
I just graduated from the University of Central Florida with a degree in interdisciplinary studies, which is basically a create your own major. I had changed my major 8 times in school because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I needed to graduate. So I finally ended up with that major. And right before I had met the man of my dreams, and I was just kind of negative. I mean, I had let the real world suck me in. I had let the college environment suck me in. And when you're going through college and you're thinking like, am I even doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And then all of a sudden you're an adult and it's like, this is not what I expected. You know, you go through college like, I can't wait to get out of college because then I'm going to do the real world thing. And then you get out and you're like, this is the real world? Is this it? Yikes. Yeah, and that was kind of where I was when I decided to start building my business. I finally said yes because of my children and the lifestyle. I wanted them to be able to live the same lifestyle and the same life that I was given with the choices I was given, but also for my husband. I wanted him to be able to chase his dream, and so he's had the doors wide open to live the life and to live the career of his dreams. So to have a happy husband, and I know they say happy wife, happy life, but happy husband, happy wife. Yeah. Happy husband, happy wife, happy life. So I pictured all of that. And that was really why I said yes, was the potential.
Yeah. She is why I said yes. Because I wanted to raise you. I had worked in daycare centers, and there's some really great daycare centers out there, especially now. But I was in high school and I worked in a daycare center, and your dad and I decided that that was not a choice for me. That we were going to have to find some kind of home-based business. So I looked at all sorts. I mean, that was good. I love to cook, so I was thinking about being a chef, but in a small town in Alabama. You're not going to get paid for that. The startup costs, how much time it was going to take, all of these ideas. I wanted something that I can make some money, get in and get out, and be with you. And so when I looked at everything on paper, you know, 50% commission, team building, residual income on your sales, and how, you know, like you're really building a business. It's not just go to a job and get paid and go home. That really attracted me. And that's, I think, really why I said yes. Got over at least $6,000 worth of diamonds. I've had
That's first. Most importantly, there's over $6,000 worth of free diamonds.
Okay, so the money, can I say that next?
Yeah.
My goal was to make $100 a week in order to diaper and feed her, because she was on formula, was to diaper and feed her. So I was thinking $50 to $100 a week. Now I probably make that an hour, because I make my gross income last year was $101,000, and I've been doing over $50,000 as a college dropout, making over $50,000 for at least 16 years. I have had 8 pink Cadillacs. I've had Mary Kay career cars, because there's other levels as well, for 23 years.
So you haven't had a car payment in 23 years?
No car payment. No. And every 2 years you get a new car. So there's no maintenance on the car, plus virtually no insurance that you pay for. And 80% of all of my car expenses, which are virtually none, are tax deductible too. So there's tons of great tax deductions as well. So who I become as a person is really what keeps me going more than anything. I could never leave this company just because of who I've become, both spiritually, emotionally. I was very damaged when I came in because of things that, you know, shouldn't happen to a little girl happened to me. And I was really damaged coming in, and then having this safe environment to be able to really go through some self-awareness and repair and healing. And that is really, to me, one of the most priceless things of my journey. Awesome. And success. And then, of course, being able to raise her. And then my son, her brother, came 10 months into the business, and picking up my very first car when they were 9 months old and 23 months old. That was pretty cool. But I think also another big part of the journey was, you know, what she was saying as far as my husband being able to make career choices, moving 9 times, giving him that flexibility. But the other is being able to actually be there for every stage of your life. Being there when they were learning to walk. Being there when they were in elementary school. Being there in the important years to be around, you know, in high school and middle school. And then being there to...
Like when the teenager doesn't want them around. She's
exactly.
Still there.
I'm still there. One of the things my son said, he was walking by one day when we had a whole bunch of ladies in, and I said, hey, Chris, why don't you... He was like 20. I said, why don't you share with the ladies, what was it like being a Mary Kay son? And he said she was around a lot. I mean, like all the time. Like all the time she was there. So I could never get into trouble or anything. And so, so that's, I think, is very important. I got to live out my dream.
It's been a crazy 2.5 years.
Yes, it has.
I have moved 4 times in 2.5 years, from Pensacola, Florida to Gainesville, Florida to Macon, Georgia, and now live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I've moved 4 times. I was single. I have been engaged, planned a wedding, gotten married, had a miscarriage, miscarried our first child, and got pregnant again, went through an entire pregnancy, and have delivered a beautiful, perfect angel of a baby boy named Crawford. And that has really been my life in a nutshell of 2.5 years of life since I started. And through that time, I have been able to fully provide for my household. My husband took 2 unpaid internships and then a graduate assistant position, and now we made the decision on a part-time assistant position at Butler University up here.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. And so I've been able to fully provide for my household. I've earned 2 free cars with this company. My very first car was in my first 4 months. First 4 months, we qualified for the Chevrolet Cruze, and it is totally pimped out, and it is beautiful. And then we earned our second free car 6 months later with a Chevy Equinox. So we're currently a Premier Club unit driving a Chevy Equinox. Throughout my journey, I think one of the things, being able to provide for my household, being able to drive a free, safe car with all these moves and all the traveling, the girlfriends I've met in this company are not like any girlfriends I've ever had in my life. The amount of prayers that were needed in the past 2.5 years with all that going on, to have this prayer warrior force praying for me, and praying for my marriage and praying for my family. And I wouldn't change who I've become. And I know it seems so cliche, and I know you said, you know, talked about it too. And I was even raised in a Mary Kay household, but who I have become in faith and how I have learned to walk out my faith every single day. And now that I have a platform to share that with other women, to teach other women how to walk out their faith, that has been my favorite part of my 2.5-year journey. Some of my biggest things were, first of all, my greatest need is safety and security. And her greatest need is fun. And so she had talked to me. Can you tell?
and you notice that when you're telling your story, I talked about the bling, and you talked about your job and your family and paying the bills. So I think they've already got kind of a grasp on who we are.
Yeah.
I'm fun and you're
safety. Well, that sounds boring. Well, I'm safety. So my greatest need is safety and security. And what I thought was that someone else controlling my paycheck was safe and secure. I thought that going to a full-time job where I knew exactly how much I was going to make every month was safe and secure. And God is so good, because I was living at home and I watched my 48-year-old father lose his job on a Friday, told not to come in on a Monday just because it wasn't working out. Been in his industry since he was 16 years old, an executive in his company making over 6 figures a year, and just because someone decided it wasn't working out, you know, he lost his job. And instantly, God said, why do you think someone controlling your paycheck is safer than me controlling your paycheck as long as you're obedient.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, got it. So that was my number one reason. Did you have one reason that stood out more than the others?
I mean, we had just moved to that small town in Alabama, so I didn't know anybody. And we didn't have Facebook 25 years ago. We didn't even have cell phones. And she showed me that if you start with one person and you have a party and how you can build with just one person. And now with Facebook and cell phone Rolodexes, I mean, the sky's the limit, really.
We don't have Rolodex.
Well, the phone is kind of like your old Rolodex.
Oh, okay.
That's, yeah.
She means your contact list in your phone.
In your phone, which is like the old Rolodex.
But one for me also, and I think the dynamic has changed from when you started, was that I was like, did not want to be a salesperson. You know, and the whole idea of like selling makeup, that I was going to sell Mary Kay, really turned me off. I did not want to be a salesperson. And so what I learned a couple things. One is that we're all salespeople. Women by nature are salespeople. I will sell her on why she should wear that or why she should not wear that outfit. Too often. But yeah, I mean,
it was nice when she lived in Georgia because I could wear what I want.
So you sell your friends by nature. So I learned, number one, that women are salespeople. If you drink a new drink at Starbucks that you're in love with, you call up your girlfriend and you tell her why she's got to go get that because it's the best drink ever. The other thing that I learned is that we're not salespeople. What I do as a beauty consultant is that my job is to make another woman feel important. And I get paid to do that. I get paid for being obedient. And when God says speak, I speak. And to just love on people and to listen to them. Yeah. I mean, really is our job is to listen and love. So I learned that I wasn't so much selling a product as I was representing a company. Right. And I wanted to represent a company that I believed in and that I loved. And I always said, you know, I love Mary Kay, the company. And I love everything it stands for, being a Christian-based company, being a company for women, being a company that donates to end domestic violence and ending cancers affecting women. I loved the company, and I finally realized that if I don't represent the company I love, there is no company. So instead of selling a product, I learned that I'm representing a company. Right. And that's really how I overcame being a salesperson.
Yeah. Being a salesperson wasn't as much of an issue for me as much as it was the time. Like really thinking about how much time was I going to have to invest to be successful, because, you know, the real world out there says that if you're going to start a business, you have to work your entire, like, 80 hours a week and invest everything and put all of this into starting this business.
You either had to be a good business person or a family person. You weren't going to be able to have both.
You couldn't do both.
Right.
And so I was really concerned because we didn't want to, I mean, I didn't even have anybody that could watch you. And so your dad was working construction, road construction. And so, you know, in the summertime, he was working, you know, until dark. And so I was really concerned about how I was going to fit this in. I realized that, you know, as women, we will put into our schedule what is valuable. And I found that I wanted to be a stay-home mom enough that what I needed was to make $100 a week. And so was that worth investing that 4 hours a week? And I found that that was worth that time to invest it. It was worth giving it a try.
So how did you overcome that, talking to your husband, talking to my dad and going, listen, I know we need money, but I'm going to need some money to make started. Money. Yeah. Right. So how
well, that was a good question. So actually right behind Nicole, this is the starter kit bag, which is so much cuter than what it was 25 years ago. The starter kit is $100. You're getting $466 in product plus all of the things to do the party. And so I got to a point in the conversation with Cindy that I was really starting to really want to do this. And I was starting to actually kind of throw out what I call like little roadblocks or smoke screens. Like the truth was, it wasn't the money as much as it was fear. But there was a real need for money too. And I just finally decided that what was the worst thing that was going to happen if I gave it a try? And we had a credit card that had about $100 on it. And so I put it on a credit card in faith and hope that I was going to make that back really quickly.
I had allowed my brain to go in a place where I thought I wanted average, and where I thought mediocrity was okay. I thought if I just had a decent job, I had allowed myself to believe that living paycheck to paycheck was okay. And that just getting by, I was going to be a decent, good wife. I was going to be a decent, good mom. I was going to love Jesus, and I was going to live a decent life and die and go to heaven. I knew that the potential to be more than average was there, and that really scared me to death, which I think is what brings us to what both of our fears were 25 years ago and 2.5 years ago was fear. It was just a whole lot of fear. So
fear of the unknown, there's fear of success, there's fear of failure, there's fear of being disappointed, there's fear of what your friends are going to think. I went to school, even though I dropped out, but I went to school for computer science. I even remember my brother saying, so you're going to sell lipstick with all that education? And, so there's so many fears that stop so many people. And I think
I had a fear of meeting new people. I had moved so much with my family. I thought, am I really going to meet new people for a job? I was scared to death to have a job of meeting new people. I was super scared of failure. I was super scared that what if I gave this everything I had and it didn't work? And all of the what ifs of fear. I
remember all of them, honey.
And she heard all of them.
All of them.
And so I was scared. I was so scared. I remember walking out that first day thinking I was going to physically throw up all over myself before I ever got to my car to leave, because I was so scared. And so the bottom line was for me, and I don't know what it was for you, but for me, I had to feel the fear and do it anyway. And I knew that if I was being obedient, that God was going to bless the efforts of my hands. And I remember thinking I would do this as a volunteer position. And I was like, why don't I just pretend it is? So I treated my job like I was doing it for volunteer, because that's how good you're making other people feel. And eventually, as the successes come, the fear went away for me.
Yeah. Mine was the fear of disappointment. I was so many jobs, not going to prom and all of those other no's and careers and things that I had hoped and dreamed of that would happen. And I think the thing for me was that I was afraid to be so hopeful and then disappointed again. I was just afraid that it was going to be just something else that I wanted so bad to be real. And that and I think the bottom line for me that made me say yes was, what was the worst thing that was going to happen if I tried it? Because I looked on a piece of paper, all, the pros and cons. And of course the pros way outweighed the cons. The only con there was fear of failure. What was the worst thing that was going to happen? So I decided that I was just going to give it a try for like 6 months and just give it my all for 6 months and see what came from it. And here we are, 25 years. And one of the things I didn't say that I'm so grateful for is that the decision that I made 25 years ago has not just impacted raising her and Chris, but also now is providing my grandson the opportunity to be raised by his mom, his amazing mom, and his amazing father. And Donnie and you were both doing such a great job with Crawford after just 8 weeks. But just having that peace of mind that my decision is impacting the next generation is so worth it. So thank you. Thank you for listening to our story. Thank you for taking your time
and learning more about Mary Kay. And just remember that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Bye!
Nice job.
Thanks. Why did you do that?
Because that was cute.
You just gotta stay nice.